Hello, welcome to the channel Unity 151. My name is Joe. I talk and review sci-fi, major sci-fi and space opera books and audio books. Please like, comment, subscribe. Today's book is bang, there we go. Dauntless, Jack Campbell's Lost Fleet series, book one. This is a spoiler review, so we're going to talk about my 5 topics. The 5 topics are story and world building, characters, battles, technology and machines of war, aliens and or who the enemy are. So I'll talk them categories because they're what I like about this sort of stuff. This is what I think other people like about that sort of stuff. Talk about that, give it a 1 to 5, and then yeah, so we'll do it like that. I did this as a read along with Ramsey. Poof, there's a thing up there, and Cole. Poof, there. Might be after, depends how long it takes to do that. Check their channels out. They do sci-fi stuff, fancy stuff as well, bit of both. So we're going to talk about the first category, which is going to be story and world building. Before story and world building, I'm going to read the blurb, because everyone likes blurb and I like practicing reading out loud. A time of war. After 100 years of brutal war against the Syndicate, the Alliance fleet is marooned deep in enemy territory, weakened and demoralised and desperate to make it home. Their fate rests in the hands of Captain Black Jack Geary's, a man who has been presumed dead but then emerges from a century of survival hibernation to find his name had become legend, forced by a cruel twist of fate into taking command of the fleet. Geary's must find a way to inspire the battle-hardened and exhausted men and women of the fleet to face certain annihilation by their enemies. Terrible news. Right, good book. I enjoyed it. I liked, as much as it annoyed me, I liked how 100 years of war, how it's affected the military and everyone's point of view and how they do stuff. So they've gone from, like our military is now, do as you're told, sit, jump, left, right, you sit, jump, left, right. That's how it is, you know, strict, do as you want, not do as you want, strict, do as you're told sort of thing. In this, the commander, whatever his name is, Blackjack, barked his orders. They want to take a vote. A what? A vote? I don't know. You know, there's no tacticalness. They just charge in, smash, throw their lives for honour and stuff. No, absolutely zero tactic going on. Yeah, it was good. I liked it. I liked, they don't know what the war's about. They just know that the war happened. The Syndicate attacked them. I don't know why. There's a bit of could there be aliens out there? There's a little bit of that. They don't know. They're dropping little hints. I think there's aliens going on. I think that's where they're going. The characters are interesting. The way the characters all interact with each other. How they interact with Blackjack, because he's like a god to them. So, yeah. It was really interesting. I liked the book. It was good. So, what we're going to do, we're going to talk about world building and story. Oh, Blackjack. He was in the first battle, I believe, when the Syndicate attacked. They sent the ships over, launched an attack on their neutral line or whatever. All went downhill. Blackjack, he sort of sacrificed himself and his ship to save the other ships. The ships could get away and some transport people, whoever it was. He done that. Ship blew up, went out his pod. That's it. He's been sleeping for 100 years. His time was about to tick out. He was going to die. You know, he probably in his dreams, you know, thinking, oh, lovely. The Alliance fleet, they got dangled a carrot. So the Syndicate, they've got this thing called a hypernet, and that's how they jump around quicker than the old way of travelling. And someone who betrayed the Syndicate left to the Alliance fleet with the technology. Give it to them, and they're like, right, attack the home planet, we can do it. So where they don't do no tactics, they don't do no forward planning, they're like, right, cool, we've got a bit of technology, let's do it. They haven't even built a second one, they haven't studied it, nothing. They got given a new bit of technology, strapped to the ships, off they went. Through the hypernet, they landed in Syndicate space, boom, mines, ships, blow, destruction, death. They lose half their fleet, annihilated. They run, that's where they come across Blackjack, pick him up, he comes out of his slumber, he's groggy, not a happy man. The Syndicate catch up, they surrender, all the people in charge get on the ship, like, we surrender, terms surrender. Syndicate's like, no, bang, kill them all. And then Blackjack does a runner, smart move, not through the hypernet, doing the old jump way where they go around the gravity wells of black holes and suns, I think it's just suns, might be black holes, whatever. Do that and then that's it, they just keep jumping and running, getting chased, and that's basically the story. It was interesting, I liked it, to be honest, it was very good. I'll give that a 4 out of 5. Characters. Blackjack, he doesn't want to be in charge, to be honest, he wants to die. He'd rather be dead. Friends, family, brother, they're all dead, he's not happy. So he then has to be in charge, and he don't like it. He butts heads with the officers because of like the captains of other ships, because they want to do it their way. They don't think he can do it properly. They're wrong, but you know he has to deal with them. He's got good patience. There's Madame Co-President. She's a thorn, right thorn in his back end, but she's a good thorn. She's always sort of keeping him straight, even though he doesn't really need it. But it sort of helps him in his internal monologue deal with all that sort of stuff, or forces, I mean. He's got a number 2 who's the captain of the Dauntless. Yep. She worships him like a lot of people do, so it's interesting how she does everything. She's like, yes sir, yes sir, yes sir, you know, she loves him. But at the same hand, she does question him in a good way, which is nice, and she's the one who sort of helps him learn how to do everything. You meet a few, there's Marines on there. The Marines are quite nice because they still salute and they still uphold tradition still, where no one salutes or does anything like that. It's sort of like, okay, bye, and just sort of hello and stuff. He actually does find a great grandson, I believe, who turns up on one of the ships. He meets him briefly, but then he ends up sacrificing himself for a ship called Titan. So he finds someone who's his own blood relative and dies. And that sort of messes him up, and it not super messes him up, but it sort of affects him. That was good. I liked it. I thoroughly enjoyed it. The characters were very interesting. I'll give them a 3.5 out of 5. The battles. Now, the battles are basically like a top-down view. It's all from Blackjack, point of view. He, because where he controls everything, so it's all from his point of view. So he's got a map. So you're looking at it as a map. Even though they're telling you what's happening, so you see the bigger picture, but because it's like the way he's doing it, it's like a strategy game where you see the entire map and you're moving this over here, and they're all organising like that. So I like that. It's very different and it's very interesting. There's a time lag as well, so everything he's doing for the battles has already happened, or he's in prediction of it going to happen, because it might take an hour, or not an hour, 7 minutes, depending on how far away, because they're all spread out over long distances. There's a few battles, so you've got the first initial, it kicks off, well don't kick off, after it's kicked off, he takes control, they all run away, cut little battle, very interesting. That's why his great nephew, sacrifices himself. You then got, they set mines at a jump point where they exited and they went off. They left mines there and a couple of battle cruisers. A few syndicates, ships pop through, hit mines, blow up. They then destroy the rest of them. Little mini sort of scuffle goes on there. Then the Alliance attack a syndicate old colony where there's not really much going on, but it's a mess. They don't do no formation. They all just sort of fly off, do their own thing. He's having to shout commands at them, get them to listen, and half of them do, half of them don't. Absolutely dismal attempt. After a bit of training, he has his final battle where, like, I think it's called a pincer, no, nutcracker. So you've got the main force going forward, you've got 2 at the top and 2 to the side, and the whole point is it crunches around like that. So the main force go in, the syndicates just go smashing into them, the ones at the top come down, the ones at the side, and what they're doing, they're sort of crisscrossing through constantly, and as they go, and then as the main battle fights and they fly past each other, the other lot, they loop round and smash and crash. Really interesting, really liked it. It was very detailed. I followed everything. I never got lost. I always knew what was going on. I like that. The battles were really good and really interesting. I'll definitely give that a 4 out of 5. Technology and the machines of war. So you've got your ships, which is there. I may have zoomed it in, I may not, I don't know. Different ships, class ships. You've got your destroyers, battle cruisers, auxiliaries, cruisers, heavy cruisers. Some other ones, kind of a quarter of my head, tell memory. But what I like is you've got your ships to do their own jobs. Where a lot of other books and a lot of other shows, one ship does everything and it's ridiculous. You've got ships, they all do their own job, they all work as a fleet, and that's what I really like about this. All the ships have got different looks, different designs, very interesting. They all have their certain jobs, and they all do their jobs, which is really good. You've got the FDL, the fast and light travel is through the gravity wells, or you've got the hypernet, which is even quicker, but you have to have, I think, locations put in places to then go through. I can't really remember, I'm not too sure to be honest. I like that. The weapons, you've got grape shots, which just fire these ball bearings. You've got missiles, and then you've got this, I don't know what it's called, but it just basically like, how I sort of envisioned it was like sort of like a burst of energy going, and then it hits the ships, and it just breaks them down to atoms, and just they vaporize and just die. But it's a very close combat weapon, and it takes a long time to recharge. So it's not overpowered. You can't just like everyone. You get like one battle. But I liked it. Very, very interesting. There's defense platforms, cargo ships, lots of different sort of stuff goes on. There's lots of technology. You do see lots of technology, which I like. I'll give that a 4 out of 5. Enemy and or who the enemy are. So Syndicate, they're CEOs, that's how they are. They're just not nice people. That's the way they're portrayed. But Blackjack he's very sympathetic towards them because he's old school, and just because you're on the enemy side doesn't mean you're actually the enemy. It's usually people in charge. 9 times out of 10 are actually like the bad people. So he feels bad for the people and stuff, which I find very interesting. So even though they're the baddies, you see the goodness in them through Blackjack. But the leaders are very oppressive to their own people. They have defense platforms which they use on their own people to keep them in charge, keep them in control. So that's kind of like, they're not nice people. We don't really know much about them at the moment because it's all from Jack's point of view as they're escaping, and the Alliance don't know not really much about the Syndicate, which is interesting because I don't know how there would have been history before, because we all come from Earth, unless Earth's not actually in this book. I don't know. Aliens. Now, you don't see no aliens, but you do have sort of some like rumbles and rumours. So like, on one of the Syndicate's bases, the Marines go inside and there's a safe, but the safe's been attacked by, or drilled or broken into by something in the last 40 years. Whatever done it used a drill bit of an odd size that no one uses. I don't know. But with that, they're like, maybe they've used the drill bit because so they can't be sort of found out what drill bit they're using. Don't know where it come from. But if you have a unique drill bit, it's easier to find a unique drill bit than a common drill bit that every single person has. So they're like, well, why has someone done that? Who would break into a Syndicate's safe, especially when people know if you know the Syndicates, you know, because they're like CEOs, or that's the way it's sort of the corporation sort of thing. Sorry, we're like a corporation. When you clear out, everything is cleared out. You don't leave stuff behind. All this stuff. They're very strict and regulated and by the book and by the letter and everything like that. So with that, if you know who they are, they wouldn't leave anything in his safe. But someone or something didn't know that. But they tried breaking into it. And the other thing was, there was another base that got abandoned. In this base that got abandoned, the Syndicate wiped everything and done something else, so you can't get any data whatsoever from it. And again, they were like, why would they do that? Because you would only do that by someone who hasn't got the technology to get into it, or something like that. I can't remember what it was. So they're sort of saying, well, the only reason why they would do that is if it's a non-human trying to get into it, or someone who doesn't have human technology, if you know what I mean. So it's quite interesting. And I've got a feeling the reason why the war started, because no one knows why the war started, is because of these aliens. I don't know how, because they even say like, maybe the aliens are something to the Syndicates, because it's been going on for about 40 years. Could have been longer, we don't know. So that's very interesting. I'm very intrigued about that. So yeah, I'm definitely going to give the aliens and or who the enemy are a 4 out of 5 as well. I like that. The alien touch really done it for me because it's just like a nice little nibble, it's like, tastes nice. I like that. So yes, good book, 4 out of 5 book for me. It was a read along. I liked it. I'm going to do the next one. I think we'll probably do the next one again as a read along. So if you want to join that, please do message me on Twitter or comment or anything along those lines, Discord, whatever. But yeah, get the book if you haven't actually listened to it, read it, one or two. If you have, cool. Yeah, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. This was Jack Campbell's Lost Fleet Dauntless spoiler review. Boom! Done it. Fabulous. Geary's a man who's had oh my days, my mouth is not working. Right, let's do the next one. Oh my days, I actually done that in one hit. I cannot believe it. Right, no I didn't say about the blurb, I didn't do it in one hit. Dang it.